into our lives who are filled with the grace of God. Remember early on, grace and truth. We need both. We need truth in our lives. We need those people who will come in and say, here is sin. And I love you. I love you too much to leave you like that. I love my knife too much to let it just be a dull knife. So I'm going to bring it into contact with this steel as iron sharpens iron. I love you too much. And they're going to come alongside with grace, the grace of God, because they have received grace, because they know themselves, guess what? I'm imperfect too. I have my flaws. I'm not perfect. I'll tell you that right now. And I will never live up to and meet all of your expectations that you think I should. It's not going to happen. Will you see transformation take place in my life? It better be. I hope that in the years to come, I'm not the same person 2 years later that I am right now. Because I too am being changed, but I need people to come into my life. I had a gentleman back in Montana, wonderful man of God. And he pointed out one of my blind spots. He goes, Tim, here's your blind spot. He had the right to do that because he loved me. We need those people. When you're in a small group, you get to develop those relationships. You build trust with one another. I'm going to put this down before But we need those people who will speak love and truth into our lives and will help us. We might reach a passage that God is saying, hey, here's an area in your life where I'm calling you to a place of obedience. And so you might say to the group, hey, you know what, here's where God is speaking to me, and I need to implement these changes into my life. That's where someone in the group gets to go later on. Not that day, but a week, 2 weeks. Hey, a couple of weeks ago you mentioned that you were going to do X, Y, Z, or A, B, C, M, N, O, P. How are you doing on that? How can I pray for you in this regards? How can I encourage you in this? What help do you need? Because we need that accountability, whether it's victory over sin or just another practical step of obedience in our relationship with God. We're having somebody come alongside and help hold us accountable. I already kind of referenced this, that members pray for one another. Matthew 18:20, for where 2 or 3 come together in my name, there I am with them. God honors and answers prayer. When we become connected emotionally, which is part of what happens in a small group setting, is you begin to get to know people. The more you know them, the more easy you get around them, and the more likely you are to let the walls come down. And they get to see the flaws. And that's where reality begins to set in. Because we need people to be real. I think part of what has happened in the church and by the church has in some respects let down our culture is we have stopped being real. We have, for whatever reason, felt that we needed to put on this image of perfection and that we have it all together. No, we don't. But when we make that connection, we begin to say, here's where I need prayer. Beyond the physical things. Yeah, we can pray for each other as we face illnesses and sicknesses. But what about praying for spiritual matters in our lives? That's where we begin to affect change. Also in small groups, people are more likely to practice what they learn. Now this goes right with where we were at this morning. I already had this down. I knew we were studying the book of James, but I didn't do this because of James. But James 1:22 through 25. For those of you that were at the adult Sunday school class, what's the key verse?
James 1:22.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for playing the game. No, I'm not. It's me. It's who I am. But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in the mirror, for he looks at himself and goes away and at once forgets what he looks like. But the man who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. When we are in a small group, there's a greater chance that we're going to begin to apply what it is that we are learning. Because we've got those people that are encouraging us, who are supporting us, who are praying for us, who are challenging us, who are holding us accountable. So we're going to start to put it into practice, because I've got somebody who's going to ask me a question. They're going to ask me, how are you doing? And they mean it. And they're going to give you the time to answer it. They don't just want the superficial, oh, I'm good, thanks. Group members help each other in hard times. People often feel isolated or alone. I don't have a scripture. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. I'd look better than else. I'd be fine. Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12. Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone. There again is that bone. Woe. Not good. When he falls and has not another to lift him up. And again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. We all will face times that, if you haven't already, it's coming. We all will face hard times in life where we need somebody to pick us up. You've seen the commercials. I've fallen and I can't get up. I know it's kind of funny, we kind of laugh off it, but in reality, there is a truth to that. That in those hard times in life, we are fallen and we can't get up on our own. We need somebody to reach down and pick us up. And helps us to see that we need other people. So, group members get to do that. They get to then be the hands and feet of God and do the work of the church. Somebody has a surgery and they're recovering at home. It's nice to not have to worry about cooking. Small group can all of a sudden go, hey, let's start a meal training. One less thing to worry about. Or maybe it's an unexpected, car repair, or there might be some financial need, and the small group can kind of spearhead a GoFundMe for somebody. Or they just do the GoFundMe themselves as a group. That's just two examples of how we can meet needs. There are certainly many other ways to do that, but that can take place in that setting. And I'm not saying that these don't take place in the larger church as a whole, but I think there's a greater effectiveness when it takes place in that small group. Friendships start in small groups. A lot of people lack close friends. You ever feeling alone, that you don't know anybody? I say, find a small group. Get connected with others. It's where fellowship is going to take place and those friendships form. Yes, we get to see one another here on Sunday mornings and we take a moment to shake each other's hand. But in reality, it's kind of a superficial fluff, getting to know people. Because deep down, truly deep down, if we're going to be honest, we're going to say, I want somebody to know the real me. I need somebody who can see the hurt and the pain that I'm going through. Or I need somebody who will celebrate this joyous occasion with me. We understand all too well that we were not created to be alone. So a small group affords that opportunity. Find that. Get connected. Because lastly, there's protection and safety in the groups. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Lions, as well as other predators, seek out their prey who have become separated from the herd. When we choose to keep to ourselves, we become easy prey for Satan to overpower. If you're struggling with getting victory over sin, can I suggest that perhaps a small group might be a place to begin? Because if you're trying to get victory yourself and trying to battle that yourself, you've actually made it easier for Satan to win. Because he goes, I've already culled you from the herd. In fact, he didn't even have to do it. And I think that's something that the early church, they understood. Whether they knew right at that moment what was coming down the line in just a matter of years, the persecution that they would face, but they had already established that network within themselves so that when those hard times came and the persecution and many were going to lose their lives, but they realized, I'm not in this alone. I've got brothers and sisters who are experiencing the same thing. They're going to support me. We're going to challenge each other in the faith. We're going to remain steadfast, even though it could very well mean I'm going to lose my life. Look at our culture today. The animosity towards Christians and the church is growing at a rate that we haven't seen prior to this time. We are going to be facing hard times as Christians, as those that place their faith and trust in Jesus Christ. They're coming. It's not if, it's when. So we need each other. We have a wealth of opportunities taking place in our church. There's a ladies' Bible study that meets on Monday nights. There's the men's group on Wednesday nights. There's a youth group on Thursday nights. There's a growth group on Friday nights. There's going to be another growth group on Thursday nights. There's Sunday school, Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. Can I please encourage you? Take your instrument, practice it at home, but then bring it to the large symphony of the church, and we will make some beautiful music together. Because we are better together. And we grow better together. Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you